Hello. Hello, diary. So I am just chilling at home. I'm home alone, so I'm just hanging out in the living room of the family apartment that I live in. Not usually able to film here, so it's nice to be able to have that freedom. My parents are away on a little romantic getaway together, and so I've had the house to myself for a little bit. I wanted to do some vlog shit and going throughout my week of things I got up to while I was alone, but then I got, an illness decided to run a train on me. So now I'm just I've just been recovering for that time. So now I'm just hanging out. I've just been kind of hanging out here, watching shit tons of movies. I downloaded Letterboxd, which is fun. It gives me some motivation to watch movies, because then I can add it to my dashboard. It's collecting points or just working up a nice little collection. And I'm eventually hoping to get to Charlie XCX's level of she's watched over 1,000 films and actually has 1,000 registered there. So I'm trying to get there, but I did just download it, so probably not going to be happening for some time. But I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about today, but something I don't know, dabble with the idea of talking about is I kind of wanted to talk about career stuff a little bit, because the grand scheme of my career, I've just been thinking about where I'm going in life in terms of my career and the things I want to do and my passion. Because I think so much of what I talk about here is life stuff and life, me getting my mental health together and me, I don't know, grappling with existentialism and the idea of love. Oops, sorry, showing my undies. I am wearing a mini skirt at the moment. Grappling with just love and friendship and my own feelings towards myself, and I've been spending a lot of time just focusing on the relationships between me and the people around me and me and myself, and which has been important, and I've liked doing that. But now, recently, I've just been thinking a little bit about my career and what I want to do. And I don't know if I wanted to check in with myself and see if I'm just staying on the right path or staying in the path that I feel like I need to be at. So, my ultimate dream is to be an actor. I went to school for acting. I went to WAPA in 2022 for screen acting. I decided I wanted to be an actor in about year 10 or 11 when I was in a production of Footloose as the homophobic priest, which is, clearly came from a lot of lived experience. So I started doing that, and then I, threw myself into the deep end of that, started doing dancing, singing, acting wherever I could, because I thought I was going to be a musical theater kid. Then eventually got into the screen acting course at WAPA in 2022, then graduated from that, was the best year of my life, and I was ready to dive headfirst into the world of acting and really give acting my best shot. And then after that, at the end of that year, all of our show reels got sent out to agents. And I think I was one of a handful of people that didn't get asked by any. Because back then, I was a little bit more feminine presenting. I had long hair, I had bangs, I had no facial hair, I liked wearing makeup and cross-dressing all the time, which are things, clearly I still like to do. I still like to do that. But, also, do you like this shirt? It's my older shirt. It's a Lizzie McAlpine shirt. For the bitches that know, this is a Red Moon. A lyric in the song Older by Liz McAlpine is watch the red moon climb. And that's what this is about. I got this when I went to her concert. But, so it's pretty cool. So I didn't get asked by an agent, and this is really where a big dichotomy of a big relationship between the way I looked and commercial success became correlated. Because I felt that it was kind of being made apparent to me when I was sending in my headshots and my showreel time after time with me looking more effeminate, that I just didn't ever find any recognition or success or anything like that. And it just didn't feel like I was ever really understood by anybody. And so this led to a lot of self-doubt. And then when I moved to Sydney, that self-doubt got even worse because when you're in Sydney, you're thrown into a pool of a lot of other artists who are a lot more conventionally attractive than you are. And I don't mean that in a self-deprecating way to say that I was ugly or anything at the time. I think at the time I felt I was ugly. But, there's always going to be someone that fits more the bill of a conventionally attractive person. And I've been surrounded by those people for a lot of my life. So I feel like I bear a lot of residue to do with that. And I am coming to terms now with my complicated relationship with my looks. And how I think how I feel like I've maybe associated success with looking attractive. But we'll probably get more into that in this video. But so I went to Sydney. It kind of got even worse. So I thought maybe I need a rebrand. Maybe I need a rebrand. I was an undiscovered actor. I still am an undiscovered actor. I was just, a happy gay guy, a happy effeminate gay guy, but the pressures of the industry made me feel like I needed to change who I was. So I was like, let's cut my hair that I'd been growing for 6 years at that point. Let's grow out a beard. Let's try be more to that masculine aesthetic. And I did that. And then I started receiving a little bit more, not even praise from professionals, not even anyone that mattered in that acting world. But I received more, praise from people around me. I received more admiration from those people, that I cared for the opinions of. And then I did that I rocked the beard and this more 70s mop hair for a while. And I kept going. I got some headshots kind of in that style. I sent them out to agents again, and I took part in classes and tried to be as part of many short films as possible, and still nothing. And that was it got even furtherly discouraging, and then I wasn't able to deal with the stress of Sydney and trying to be involved in the industry, plus affording Sydney, plus having a crush on one of my really close friends at that time. I wasn't able to deal with all that. So I moved back to Perth and to have a chill time. But something I always give myself credit for is the pragmatic approach I've had to pursuing the film industry. Actually, I'm going to circle back to this point that I'm about to make because I feel like I'm going to get away from the original one. So I came back here, did some things, I'm probably going to talk about in a moment, but I then moved out of that phase of the shaggy and the beard and went into this phase that I'm in now, where it's the mullet and the stash, the dark stash and the dark brows, which I'm going to get redone, by the way, on the 10th, so that's going to be fun, just before in time for I go to New York. I'm going to New York in a couple of days, so that's going to be a larger vlog, so I hope that you're prepared for that. But it's going to be just me just chilling out, being in New York, going to see some Broadway shows, going to some restaurants, going to go see some tourist attractions. I'm going to see a lot of LGBTQIA plus history. I'm going to, I'm being by myself, and I'm maybe going to get wrapped up with a couple of men. I'm going to try to have some men back to my hotel, put myself out there a little bit, try get wrapped up in some situationships. Hopefully I'll have my before sunrise moment and fall in love with someone. But that might be complicated because I am contracted to do a job, I am contracted to come back to Perth for something else, which I will talk about in a second. But yeah, so, and then I moved to this. And the more I've leaned into my masculinity, the more praise I've gotten from people and the more, opportunities maybe I've received. Not even really. I haven't even received that many opportunities, but that's because I haven't really been putting myself out there as much, because what I'm going to get into a little bit in a minute is that my relationship with acting in the film industry I'm very tired. It's very exhausting to have to continuously try and take shots at what is going to get you there. And when that thing that's going to get you there happens to be your appearance, and you're constantly just trying to like pick at straws on like what you need to do to be seen, to be taken seriously, or just to like think that there's something else going on, for them to think that there's something about you that's worth taking on. I keep having to look for that. But I also don't want to sacrifice too much of who I am. And that's where I sit with worry, is that I feel like I maybe have done that. Like, I used to be a really openly effeminate person. In 2022, when I was going to uni, I was so proud of my femininity. I loved looking, like, blurring that line between, with looking, like, really feminine, wearing dresses and stuff all the time, and like way more than I wore it now. I'm wearing makeup all the time, being super experimental with makeup. Like, I didn't give a shit whether my outfits are ugly or not. I just wanted to wear them, and I did. And I didn't care about if my makeup was too crazy. I just did it. And I liked having my hair the way it was. And I had this like delusional level of confidence. And I say delusional, but it's not a bad thing. I just like believed in myself, and I had that confidence in like who that was. And it even didn't matter that I wasn't the most conventionally attractive. That was just like how I looked, and I liked that I didn't look like anybody else. And then somewhere along the way, in the pursuit of trying to market on my appearance, when it appeared that my appearance wasn't marketable, I felt like I needed to change it. And what's kind of challenging is that I do like the way I look now. But I think about like the amount of things I had to change, or the amount of things I've changed about myself, and the amount of things the amount of my qualities that I suppressed to get to this point. I look at who I am now and I get really happy. I'm really happy with who I am now, but I also think about the person that I was, and I do miss parts of that person. But I'm sure it'll come around eventually. I think I do remember talking about something pretty similar to this in a previous video, about metamorphosizing from who I was then to who I am now to become like a combination of its own. But now, so basically my idea in the pursuit of the film industry, I've had quite a pragmatic approach to it, and I am proud of myself for that. The thing is, I just came to this conclusion that it doesn't seem many opportunities are coming my way in what I want to be doing, which is acting, so I want to pursue it in whatever other way I can, and I just want to be on set, develop connections, and just make my way, get my foot in the door however the fuck I can. And that has worked for me. I've been able to take on some lovely crew roles for some projects. Oh, my undies just flashed my dick at you guys. Don't worry, it's coral underwear. You'll be fine. So I made my own short film. I directed, acted, wrote my own short film with another one of my really close friends called Outstanding Young Performers that did the festival circuit, which was cool. And then I got brought on to be a second AD for an episode of just like an online series that from a local production company here in Perth. And then I, from that, got to do a really cool opportunity, and this is something that's probably going to come up later on this year, maybe, if I give a shit to do it, or if I am able to swallow my pride, and not swallow my pride, or like, am able to not feel embarrassed about doing it. But then I got brought on to do this film called Overture, which is directed by Bruce Beresford, who, if you don't know, is an Academy Award nominated director who directed like Driving Miss Daisy, Ladies in Black, Mal's Last Dancer, very famous film, and a very prolific Australian director. And I was brought on to do that film as art department, and that was really cool. It was a really amazing opportunity that forged me absolutely in fire, and I'm sure when the movie comes out, I might do a little video entry about a little story time about some things that I did on set there and how that was a bit of a crazy experience. But did that, and then from there I got to work on some episodes of the 12 season 3. I got to work on some episodes of the 12 season 3 as in the art department again. And then I got to after that, work on a little independent feature film called Title, a lovely little lesbian love story film. But that was like more on like an independent level, but still really cool to like get to be a part of that. And then recently, but then there like was a little bit of a stint, a longer period of time where I wasn't really doing anything after that. So I just started writing my own content and stuff. And I do plan on putting together another short film for myself in future. It's just about what's going to be the most conducive in terms of what can be made easily, fast, cheap, but still look good, still look okay. So it's just about coming down to my simplest concepts. I'm not going to try and pump out some of my best ideas, my best, most extravagant ideas, because I do not have the know-how to do that. So doing that. And then I also recently got brought on to, and so I'm going to save this bit for last, because it's going to lead me into what I'm going to say next. And then I also want to go to uni next year at ECU to study film, do a bachelor in that for 3 years. And then recently, so I can get a better know-how of how to make my own films and how to make my own films so I can act in my own films. Because that's really like the main reason that I make films. I like doing visual mediums and things like that, and I like putting things together, and I like seeing something come to life, and I like writing a lot because I sometimes see writing of in films and things like that, and I find myself often critiquing it in a way. I'm like, so if I'm going to critique it, I might as well try bring my own spin to it. Whether or not I have anything interesting to say really remains to be seen, but it's something that keeps me happy. I just finished writing a little short film script just a minute ago, actually, so I might do something with that. And that one is about like, it's kind of like a Stockholm-based story about a love story that develops between a man who is captured a cross-dressing another man who cross-dresses, and how they have this relationship where he dabbles with his queerness and keeps him locked up here, where he has a wife and a kids on the outside world, and it's about the way that the captive, in their struggled, stunted relationship with romance, is constantly trying to become something to the captor that they guess they never will be, which is just their primary love, their true love. It was based off of a song by Lana Del Rey called The Other Woman. That kind of pretty much explains the plot of the movie a little bit. But like the lyrics of that, they the other woman will always cry herself to sleep. The other woman will never have his love to keep. And as the years go by, the other woman will spend her life alone. It's before that it talks about her lacing flowers in the room and constantly just day in, day out, just making sure the house is ready for when the man comes to visit her. So I was really inspired by that idea. So that's something I maybe am gonna work on, maybe do, because I actually really like what I wrote for it. But then I want to go to uni for that, to make films, so I can learn better, just have a formula of how to make my own films instead of getting wrapped up in oh, how am I going to do it? How am I going to crew it? How am I going to just have some actual tuition teaching me how to do that? So then recently I was brought on to as art department again onto a feature film, an indie feature film called Dead Howling. And that's gonna be a really cool opportunity, to get to be part of. It's a small team, so it's gonna be a little bit more stressful. It's gonna be a bit more intimate. It's gonna be good fun. But I was just sitting there in the meeting I was having with them, and I've now done art department for 4 different feature films, or 4 different long-term projects now, across I don't know how, 2 years, maybe not, maybe, I don't know. I've done 4 long-term projects now as art department. And I'm so invested I guess I've gotten so invested in that I've kind of lost sight a little bit of why I want to pursue film in the first place and what brings me joy about it. Because art department doesn't really bring me joy. It really doesn't. I like being on set. I don't like the job of being art department. It's really just not for me. Like, I'm okay at it. I'm okay enough at it that I've been asked back to do it a couple of times, but it's not my passion at all. And I do dwindle it down to, like, you got to pay your dues, you got to do your thing, but, like, it's just like, I feel like the time that I'm spending on set just running around doing art department shit, it's just like multiple times I'm just stabbing my love of film in the stomach. Because it's just like, I just don't want to do it like that. I just don't want to do that. But I also can't be deluded. I'm going to take my jacket off. I can't pretend that that's a pragmatic way to pursue I just have to really stick it out? I haven't stuck it out for that long. But it is hard work when I get brought into it. It's 50 hours a week for like a month. And it leaves me really tired and really exhausted for a job that I really don't really want to be doing. And that's a lot of time spending doing something you really don't want to do. And so it's making me, and I just was sitting the other day and thinking about like, what do I really want when it comes to the world of film? What do I really want? What do I want to be? I want to be an actor, I think. Do I want to be an actor because I really appreciate the craft? Or do I want to be an actor because I find it easier than other things? And do I want to succeed at acting because I want to make money off of something that's easy for me to do? Or do I want to make money as an actor or do I want to be recognized? Do I want to gain a following? Because, maybe that's a part of who I am in a way. Maybe I do like the applause of it all. Maybe I do like the ego boost of performative mediums. I mean, I'm vlogging and putting this onto YouTube right now for a very small group of people, but I'd be lying if I said the idea of a growing fan base didn't excite me. Same thing as now I'm posting on Instagram every Friday. Now I'm posting on Letterboxd. Now I'm trying to pursue acting and things like that. Do I just have an innate desire for attention? I do wonder about that. Do I just want the applause? Do I want just the rapturous applause of it all? And do I just want to live a glamorous life where people love me? Where I just do whatever and people love me? And is that why maybe that I'm trying to do something that mimics the influencer career route? Because I do really enjoy these things. I really enjoy acting. I really enjoy just the atmosphere of it all. I really enjoy doing these video diaries just for every week, just to be able to check in, just to be able to talk about something, to have that regimented. To on Instagram have something, to put something just to do with aesthetics to put on there. Whether it's a 0.5 shot of my forehead or, I don't know, a picture of a book that I like reading. I do really enjoy these things, but not that I feel like I should be ashamed, but I'm just wondering, is there something it begs the question to me. It's I don't know, do I just like the attention? I don't know. Because I think a lot of people do feel this way and they're just not willing to admit it. I'm going to be honest about that. I think a lot of actors just want to be famous. And I'd be lying if I didn't want that either. We consume the Hollywood idea of a celebrity so frequently, and it looks very glamorous and it looks very exciting. And I think actors pretend that they don't do it because of that. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't do it partly because of that, because I am intrigued by that glamorous lifestyle. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be a part of that. A part of that tapestry of whatever the fuck that is. And maybe I am alone in feeling this way. Maybe I am. But I think it's worth being honest about. Okay, as I'm saying these things out loud, it's making a bit more sense in my head. I actually don't think that that's wrong for me to feel that way. I think that we everyone pursues their careers for their own reason. I think that's everyone's business, and as long as it makes them good at what they do and it means they don't hurt anyone, I think that's fine. So I think me desiring a glamorous lifestyle out of the careers that I want, or the things that I pursue with seriousness, I think that's okay. But I also, yeah, I guess I'm having to take some different routes to get there. But I definitely think it's worth mentioning on here that I think a lot of actors will deny that they're invested in fame because I think it makes them seem gauche and shallow. And I don't think it does. I don't think to quote someone very lovely in my life, I think my friend Nicola said this to me once. She said, you need to stop making yourself feel bad for wanting things. And let it be said, it's not the only reason I do acting. It's not the only reason I do any of this. Like, I have a lot of nuanced love for a lot of the things I do, including YouTube or acting in film or any of the other shit that I do in my life. But I think it is worth acknowledging that there is a common thread amongst the things that I do and I enjoy doing, that there is usually a stream of validation involved in some way. But I want to make this video and say that there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking validation from other people. You shouldn't be dependent on it. And I don't think that I am. But listen, I like a compliment. I'm a words of affirmation girly. That's my love language. So I'm choosing to accept that at this moment. I'm glad I've actually said a lot of this because it's actually making me feel a bit better. But, you know, I will pursue acting for as long as I want to. And I will continue to do this as long as I want to. I will continue to do anything in my life as long as I want to. I very much struggle to do things I don't want to do. And which is why this whole art department thing is really getting to me, I think. I like the money that it will give me. I like the opportunities to be on set that it will give me. I like the connections. But the job itself is not my favorite. But my acknowledgement of the greater good of it all and the benefits of it outweigh my distaste towards the job required. And I can make myself feel better with the idea that I understand that I am hustling and I'm doing it for a greater cause. And I can even trick myself into being like, well, there's something, I'm strong and strong-willed and dedicated because I'm doing this I'm doing this, I'm paying my dues, you know? You can kind of give yourself a narrative like that. When you give yourself a narrative like that, you can make yourself feel better about those things. And you can give yourself almost a sense of self-righteousness. And whether or not that self-righteousness is misplaced, I don't know. Whatever helps you cope, really. So I open myself up to judgment on that. Like, listen, it sounds really cringe when I say it out loud, and it is cringe, but I've got to make my own peace with doing it because the job itself, unfortunately, is not enough to get me through. Yeah. Listen, I think it's good that at the very least, I don't, as opposed to relying on like words of validation, things like that, at least I don't use like drugs or alcohol to fill the voids. And I wouldn't even say they're voids. I just say that they're, you know, they're like little cracks in the pavement that on rainy days they fill up with water. And sometimes when they fill up with water, it can feel like you're drowning and you need something to help. You need a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. No, you need a bucket to empty them a little bit, and you need a hand. And sometimes that hand is words of affirmation from other people. But then when the sun comes out again, the water evaporates and they drain and you're back to normal again. But someday those cracks will begin to fill up again. I hope that makes any kind of sense. But being an actor is really stressful, and sometimes you lose sight of what you're doing it for. So I think I needed to check in and talk and have a chit chat with myself about what I'm doing it for. And I think I've given myself a bit of a clearer perspective, and hopefully listen, if anyone's an actor watching, tell me if you relate to this feeling that I have. Because I'm not sure. Just not sure. But listen, this footage will be really valuable in future if I do make it as a successful actor. So I'm just going to continue doing my thing. I'm going to continue making my own movies. I'm going to continue doing this art department stuff because I think one day it will have payoff. But yeah, I think I needed to check in. I think every person pursuing a long-term goal such as this in such a competitive industry, you need to check in every so often to make sure you're doing it because you want to do it. And I think I want it. I definitely do want it still. So that's good. But I will talk to you guys later. And thank you for tuning in for this long-ass spiel. I know I tend to do those, but it's much appreciated if you take part. Take part? View. View? It's much appreciated if you've watched the whole thing. But I also understand they're very long, and if you don't want to watch them, that's also so fine. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later, and I'll be touching base with you guys next time when I'm in New York. So, I'll be doing a big, little super vlog or something of the nature about my trials and tribulations of being in New York by myself. So wish me luck with that. Love you.